In your journey, have you come across any big challenge and how did you manage it? And what would be your advice to the leaders how to face a challenge?
I think that is a very, very important question that you have asked. You see, when I was in XLRI, as you know, Jesuits only can become the director. They, others cannot, become that. But I wanted to be the director because I thought that I can make that kind of difference. So the next best option for me was to go out of, XLRI for some time on what is known as professional leave. And I took the professional leave and took over almost like 27 or 28 years as a director of a business school in Calcutta. Now,
Okay.
that was a private business school. Believe me, I don't want to narrate one after another challenges that I faced on a daily basis, as the director of that particular business school, that I learned a lot. Let me just put it like that. And when I came back after that particular period, back to
Right.
Accelerate, my director asked me only one question. Mohan, welcome back. Could you tell me that what is the lesson you have brought with you now with this experience? So I told him, I said, Father, next time when you say no to me, I would not ask you the question why. Because being there at the top, I now know that many times you have to say no to the people you love, to the people you like, because resources are limited, but
Right.
claimants are many. And as a
Correct.
result, all you have to be is to judicious, fair, and mission oriented, or rather than friends oriented, or colleagues oriented, or relationship oriented. Mission is the most important thing. That is what kept me going during those two, years of leadership at that time. That was my first experience as a leader of a business school in the private sector.
Right. I think your philosophy that we should be all mission oriented as leaders. I think it's a very, very valid lesson, which will help us to overcome the challenges.
I
Very
hope so.
interesting. To you, because you have,
If I may add few things,
yep,
Mr. Tom,
yeah,
as a leader, I believed and I still believe that the role of a leader is to create many more leaders wherever
right,
you are.
right, right,
Rather than just be known as the leader, you should
right,
become the facilitator of either micro leadership or regional leadership or any other kind of leadership without any fear or this kind of thing that one day this person will replace me. No one can
right,
replace you, although they can
correct,
replace you in terms of job, responsibilities, or designation. And
right,
sometimes you do have the pleasure of working with a person who was once your, subordinate or who was reporting to you. But I think that itself is a wonderful way of learning from
correct.
reverse mentoring. That. So this was
Yes,
a
yes,
second point I did, that I
right,
always created and found and sought reverse mentors, the people who were young, the people who were probably not as experienced as I was. And then I
right,
would check back with them. Do you think I'm doing right? Is there something that I could do better? Is there anything that you think is, and don't think that your answers are going to affect your prospects. It will only
right,
affect my prospects and my relationship with you, that whether you are giving me an honest to, truth feedback and opportunity to improve, rather than saying, well, I always believed and still believe this probably is the third point, that boss is never right necessarily just because he's the boss or she's the boss.
right,
It is the rightness or sense of rightness or wrongness doesn't come with the job description. It comes
right,
with the decision making that you have in that
correct,
particular job. So even bosses could be wrong. Even bosses may not know the best. Even subordinates may know better than the boss at that particular time. So why not seek that kind of thing? So
right,
therefore, this is the third thing that I did, that I sought reverse mentors and I always try to take them. And the fourth thing which I probably did, which I would like to probably say it with a little bit of pride, that I believed in the format of leadership which called which was called at that time, even today it is now revered as one of the best theories of management, and that is called servant leadership.
Very
I
nice.
believed
Very
in my
nice.
life that leader is also a servant. And that
Right.
servant leadership means that you are subservient to something which you have undertaken of the, in the organization. So it could be mission, it could be vision, it could be people, it could be community, it could be stakeholders, it could be even your family also. So
Right.
all stakeholders have expectations from you as,
Right.
and your job is to be a servant leader rather than master leader. And I have never tried to be a master leader. I always tried to be a servant leader. And you can ask any people that I would speak the same way as I would speak, let us say, to the lowest person, let's say, in the organization, to the bosses, to super bosses, to the owners of the organizations also. And I
Very
would never,
nice.
hesitate in telling my mind if I believe that they are not right, or if I believe there is a better alternative, or
Right.
if I believe that the decision is not in the overall interest of the organization. And I never cared whether I was managing them or earning their wrath. I have never cared for that. But I
Right.
did care that whether this particular thing is right or not for the mission that I am entrusted with. And so I took my job description very, very seriously.
Very
That I
nice.
said, this is my job description, whether as a father, whether as a director, or whether as a professor, that what I have taken, and I don't care how many people have been in the process, angered,
Okay.
or, so yes, let them not be disappointed, but let them, if they're angry, that is, I can manage later. But at that particular moment, I would. And finally, I have also learned this thing, that a leader is one who is sought by the people on their way down, not on
Right.
the way up, but on the way down. That when they are coming, down, and when they seek you out, and when they praise you for the things, I thought this is probably to me the biggest compliment. That those who were my bosses, and they will seek my advice when on their way down. I thought that is something I will never forget, as again the blessing from the God.